Hello and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today I'm going to be reviewing New Riff Balboa Rye. Let's get into it. Now, I was in the store the other day and I saw this bottle sitting on the shelf. And there was a different bottle of New Riff there the week before, ended up being a malted rye. And as I was standing at the cabinet contemplating getting the malted rye, I hear someone at the counter saying, I'll get the malted rye in the cabinet, please. And he bought the last one right in front of my eyes. I couldn't do anything about it. It was miserable. So when I saw this a week later, I was pretty happy, and even though it's not malted rye, it should be pretty delicious. One thing about New Riff is their bottles are so sleek and sexy, and even their corks are black. And I don't even know what kind of material it is, if it's plastic or if it's what it is. But let's just take some time to appreciate this bottle as I throw some B-roll up on the screen right here. So this rye is 100% rye. 95% of it is Balboa rye, and 5% of it is malted rye. It's a 4-year-old rye, and how many times can I say rye in a sentence without it sounding ridiculous? I don't even know. It is bottled in bond, so that makes it 100 proof, and Balboa rye is just kind of a different type of rye. I'm not a farmer, so I can't really tell you what it's about, but they do have something on the back of the bottle explaining what it is. It says, Balboa rye is a rare heirloom grain dating back to the 1940s and often used for whiskey in those days. It's grown exclusively for distillation at New Riff by the Fogg family farm in Indiana, bestowing a unique flavor from a bygone age. It offers exquisite notes of red and blue fruit along with piquant spice. What the heck is a piquant spice? I don't know what that is, but this should be delicious. So we're gonna get right into this on the nose. I'm getting apples, apple skins, and there's just that sweet part of the apple inside, you know, the non-apple skin with the apple skin. It's two separate entities though. There's definitely some caramel in there, a little bit of oak spice. It smells like fresh, mossy grass. It smells like fresh dew in the morning over grass. So this is pretty good. It's not too strong on the nose, not too proofy. The color of it is honestly pretty good looking for a rye. I mean, I know some ryes are lighter and some ryes are darker, but this is a pretty good color. So let's pretend you guys live on an apple orchard and you wake up, go outside, 5 a.m., crisp, fresh air, the smell of dewy grass hits you in the face, but it's clean. And you guys know what I'm talking about, that clean smell in the air when it's nice in the morning. And it's a summer day, but it's not too hot yet. The apples are on the trees, and you're about to go pick apples and do whatever you do at an apple orchard. I honestly don't know. But the smell in the air is just crisp and clean, like apples, and there's a little bit of caramel in there somewhere. But I don't know how that would fit into this scenario. But we're going to go ahead and get a taste on the palate here. Okay, so that's a little funky. That mossy, dewy grass note that I was getting on the nose, it definitely comes through in the palate. It's a bit sweet. It is sweet, but it's more like grapes now, almost like a green grape, not a red grape, a green grape, and that caramel note is still a little bit there, but there's a little bit of baking spice in there too. The finish is not too long. It's kind of tasting like a caramel apple, but the fruit flavor has switched now from apple to grape, and that's something different than what I was getting on the nose. I have heard many great things about New Riff, and I haven't actually had the chance to experience a lot of things with New Riff. This is actually the first New Riff bottle that I own. However, I have heard great things about them, and they're using their own distillate. They're right out of Kentucky. They're not sourcing anything, I don't believe. So this whiskey is pretty good, especially from a newer distillery. In between tasting notes, this would be a great time for you guys to smash that like button and also subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. But that being said, let's get back into it. So that oaky baking spice is definitely present. Not overly long finish, but I can tell, you know, it's still at 100 proof. It's not too thin compared to other ryes, like the double rye that I have back there. The double rye seems a little thinner, but this one's much more viscous and rich with a lot more flavor to it. Yeah, so this is a super, yeah, so this isn't an overly complex rye, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. It's not blow my socks off amazing, the best thing I've ever had in the world, but it is good. I'm not exactly sure how much I paid for it, but I will bloop it up right there for you guys. And I do know that I had opened it up and had about one or two pours of it when I first got it, but this is the first time I really took a chance to sit down with it and really contemplate and pick it apart. And it's not an overly complex whiskey, but that's okay because it's a decent limited release and I do enjoy it. It's just not blowing my socks off. That being said, not every whiskey that you buy has to blow your socks off. There can be plenty of whiskeys that you like to just sit down and enjoy a pour of. And I have a lot of whiskeys like that in my arsenal, and this is one of them. I mean, if I had a friend coming over and I wanted to give them a good rye experience, I would give them probably something like this. Now, in terms of rye-iness, this isn't a super rye-y rye the way that double rye is and other things like that. Like, you can tell the rye flavor is there, but it is that sweeter, light fruit, but it is some oak and spice in there as well that you kind of get in bourbon too a lot of times. There's none of that menthol, eucalyptus, dilly notes that you get in other ryes, but it is still a really good rye. Big caramel hit on that last note, but that being said, it's time to grade the bottle. And for New Riff's Balboa Rye, I'm going to go ahead and give it a B-. So, it gets a B- only because I'm pretty sure I paid a decent amount of money for this bottle. It is a limited release, so I did expect something a little bit higher end than this. It is, like I said, good whiskey. However, I was hoping for something more complex. And if you see this in the stores, I honestly would pick it up because it's not bad, and of course, you're always going to want to buy those limited releases when you see them. That's just the way whiskey hunting goes. That being said, this is the end of the video, so please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and leave a comment in the comment section whether you've had this or seen it and whether you enjoyed it. That's all, folks, and I'll see you in the next class.